And I was on pace to make $2 million this year.
I do think you work less than the average human that makes $2 million a year.
Yes, I would say so. You know, when you're an entrepreneur, I feel like money attracts you and you do a lot of things for money.
You did make, in your first 6 years in life insurance, you made $5 million.
It's a good reason to be happy. But guess what? The other day I was a millionaire. Today I'm starting over again, right? So
it's true. It's true. There's reasons every day in life to go negative. I like that you are naturally a positive person.
You know, I'm 44 years old.
Does David Price look 44?
Of course not.
Put in comments below. He's trying to sell you on the cake, but he definitely doesn't look.
This is a video I did with my good buddy Cody Askins. He interviews me and we talk a little bit about why I left the $2 million a year opportunity, what I'm doing now, and some exciting things for the future. I hope you enjoy the video.
What is up? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. Dude, and today it has been a minute, more than a minute. It's been a couple years since I would say, since I've had this person on the podcast that used to be on a bunch. We love hanging. We love having him on. He loves being on. So welcome back, dude. Also, too, man, I'm excited for this because there was a point where I called him like the fastest millionaire in like the history of the life insurance industry. And it was really quick. He became a millionaire in like 3 years from scratch. The stuff we'll share today, super valuable. The dude is always, here's what I like about this person before I bring him into. He's always been supportive of what we do. But when he could be, like there's a lot of people in our industry that they want to be on our stuff, they want to leverage our platform, they want to help people, but they don't support what we're doing. This cat has supported literally almost everything we've ever done, and I'm super grateful for that. And he continues to prove that to be true. Please welcome back from the Price Group, David freaking Price.
Hey, the Price Group, the IMO now.
That's right, man. Yes. Crazy whirlwind change of events, you know. And the cool thing about what we do is, dude, no matter who someone is with, I'm gonna love them and help them. And dude, you're the same way, you know.
Yeah, you do a great job with that. I mean, you definitely Switzerland over here in Missouri, Springfield, Missouri is Switzerland.
Try to be, dude. People try to bring me into drama, and I'm like, I don't want to. I just want to help people, you know. And that's what you're doing. I mean, you're finding a way to help insurance agents like you've always done.
That's it.
You know?
Help enough people, man, get what they want, and you will definitely get whatever you want.
100%. You've even created a new, I don't think it's new. I think you just rebranded a Facebook group to help insurance agents. What is it called? We'll even link it below, but I wanted to mention it pretty early.
Yeah, we are insurance agents.
We are insurance agents. That's pretty complicated.
Yeah, and we got the domain, We Are Insurance Agents. So go to weareinsuranceagent.com. You can join the group right from there.
That's awesome.
Put that link in the bottom.
We'll throw it in the description. That's great.
And speaking of you, I would love to have you do a training in there. So every Thursday, 7 p.m., I'm going to have a guest on, do a training. So
I got to stay up late.
So Cody Askins, it's 6 o'clock for you. So 7 p.m. Eastern time. So
is it Eastern or Atlantic right now in Puerto Rico? Because I know it changes. I was talking to Edward about this the other day, and David McKnight both, and they're like, it's freaking stupid.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Is it 1 or 2 hours ahead?
But you know what's stupid?
Right now?
I went running this morning at like 5 a.m. and got back and took a shower and ate breakfast, and it was still dark outside. Now the sun goes up like 7:30 or something.
It was 7.
Yeah, 7
come
o'clock.
Up like what? 7 o'clock, Dylan? Is the sun? I mean, Dylan gets up at 3 a.m. every day. He says, I don't know.
7 o'clock.
Just kidding. He said, yeah. It probably say 6:30 or 7. Yeah, it comes up a little later. Does it come up earlier there?
It does, but it goes down earlier. So
that makes sense.
So right, I guess so, right?
Yeah.
We get an early start over in Puerto Rico.
You can't find a better place to run than Springfield, Missouri. Let's be honest.
It was great. Man. I mean, actually, to be honest, I did miss the beach. I did miss all the other people running.
Here we go.
But the weather, it felt like
it was pretty good.
It was nice running weather this morning.
Pretty good. You brought some good weather with you,
dude.
Man.
I brought like snow hats and like jackets.
It's 73 here right now.
I know it is. I thought it was gonna be cold. I was so worried. I was like, I brought like insulated shoes. Insane.
Insulated shoes.
Yeah, the weather's perfect.
Temperature in Puerto Rico. 86.
86.
But it's supposed to rain for the next 5 days.
It just says
so. You may have to stay. No,
I may have to stay. Okay.
No, dude. Look. It says 70% chance. Friday's a 60% chance. Saturday's 70% chance. Sunday's a 60% chance. Monday's a 70% chance. Dude, I choose Springfield, Missouri. I don't know. You guys vote in comments below.
Springfield or Puerto Rico? Where would you live? Put the comments in there.
I would probably say Puerto Rico too. Dude, I would love to have a pad there one day and hang half the year in Puerto Rico.
Dude,
Dylan, would you hang with me in the 6 months where I'm in Puerto Rico if I did that? You know. Yeah.
That's it. Could we
Bring
work? Could I get him to work with me if he's in Puerto Rico?
No,
Jeez.
but he's nah. Dylan can do whatever he wants, man. He wants to help you. He can help you, man.
I love Dylan. Dylan's great.
I keep him pretty busy, but he's pretty amazing. I tell you that.
He is.
He's
always
amazing.
been very helpful. Your team's great. I mean, I love your team. I love hanging out with you. Like you said, I mean, you do nothing but bring value to the industry. And
I like how and what you've been through lately. It's tough to be this way, but I like how positive you are. There's so many reasons. No, I do. There's so many reasons to go negative in our industry overall. There's reasons every day in life to go negative. I like that you are naturally a positive person. I do. Where does that come from, by the way? Is it because you work out every day? Is that part of it? Is it I've always been positive, or was there ever a time in your life where you were negative? Seriously.
Yeah, my mom, she raised me a certain way. We didn't have a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived.
What is not a lot? Is that
homeless,
a good question?
Homeless shelters, kicked out of hotels.
Seriously. It's like the pursuit of happiness.
Peanut butter for dinner, right?
I love some peanut butter.
I love peanut butter, but
with jelly or just no jelly?
Couldn't afford the jelly. Sometimes you don't have jelly. Sometimes you don't have
Jeez,
bread. Yeah, but it teaches you to you get through all that.
Yeah.
Then there's no reason to be negative anymore. If you made it this far, I'm going to ask just one little favor. It's going to cost you absolutely nothing. It will mean the world to me. You can hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the video.
I mean, you did make, in your first 6 years and in life insurance, you made $5 million. Like, I think
it's a good reason to be happy.
It's a good reason to be happy.
But guess what? The other day I was a millionaire. Today I'm starting over again, right? So
it's true. It's true. Yeah. Talk about that a little bit. Whatever you can share, you want to share. For people who are listening, they're like, "What the freak you guys?" Because a lot of people that are in our audience have no idea. You know what I mean? Like they don't know yet.
Yeah. So real simple. Everyone knows. Most people, not everyone, but most people know I worked with one carrier. I was super loyal to them for almost 6 full years of my life, and
I don't think all of our audience knows who they are, by the way, but I think a decent portion, if you've been around life insurance for a minute, probably do at this point, I would guess. Not everybody does, though.
Yeah, I would think so. And then decided, there was some things that were happening. I was just unsure, and I was a little nervous having all my eggs in one basket, right? Because making a 7-figure income, that's six figures a month, and you don't want one person to be able to control and stop that at any time. And I decided it was time to launch my own IMO. Yep. And I added some extra carriers. And
were you worried that because you did well, dude, you did well for so long, and there's a lot of people that are gonna be like $5 million in 6 years,
Yeah. I mean, I was on pace to make $2 million this year. Easily, right? Like $2 million in passive income, which is nice.
We could argue this passive thing.
Okay. So there's levels of passive income. I guess there's no real passive income, right?
I don't think so.
No, there's no real passive income.
Now, I do think you work less than the average human that makes $2 million a year.
Yes, I would say so.
Now, the audience would say, "Well, is that something to brag about?" I think that you
built the machine, though. You built it, you build the machine.
Yep. I do. And I think you overall you were in a good system. Did you agree with everything happening? Did you worry about the future of your existence? Sure, all the things. But I think it was a good system to make money. You are learning, hey, you know what? I've got some other ideas now, and you can start from scratch and create your own thing, which is also daunting and scary as freak, by the way.
Well, think about it. It's when you're an entrepreneur, right? I feel like money attracts you, and you do a lot of things for money, right? Yeah. Obviously, and then what happens?
Sometimes too many.
Right, but
too many things.
But what happens is, at a certain point, you start realizing that the money wasn't the fun part.
Yeah.
It was building something.
It was never the fun part.
Right. It's building something. So when you're put in a cage and you can only do so many different things, after a while you get bored, right? You're like an insurance factory worker, basically, right? So it's like, cool, money's great, but I got ideas. I got things I want to do. So I think
and you felt
it was a trade.
You felt limited.
Yeah, I felt limited. And it was a trade-off. It was like, all right, this is my time to start an IMO. And then you have to start looking at too. So, I'm 44 years old.
Dang, bro.
Right. So if I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this for another.
Do you think, does David Price look 44?
Of course not.
Put in comments below. He's trying to sell you on the fact that he definitely doesn't look it. But the dude is jacked. I will admit that. I'm like, dang, dude, maybe I should be doing some freaking CrossFit.
That's it. We'll get
I'm just playing basketball and running, and I'm probably freaking losing weight. I definitely don't need to do that.
We'll get
Does he
you
look
trained
44?
up.
Seriously.
But you got to think. So like, think about like, you're 44. If you're going to do this,
I don't think you look
10
44, by the way. I think you look like more closer to like 37, 38.
I'll go with 37. So if you're 37, you got to decide if you're going to do this another 10 or 20 years.
Sure.
And then you just got to think about like, what do you want that to look like? Do you want to keep repeating the same thing, or do you want to build something new, or do something different?
Do you think about the rest of your life and legacy more in your 40s than you did in your 30s?
Absolutely. So you think about that. You start thinking
I've always
about
heard that for sure.
Yeah, you start thinking about legacy. You start thinking about what makes you happy. You start looking at time differently, obviously, right? I mean,
I believe that one.
that's a big one. And then too, the other part, this is the biggest part, right? So like, okay, cool. I walked away from $2 million. And someone would look at that on the surface and be like, that's absolutely crazy. You're out of your mind.
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot. But then you think about, let's talk about numbers, and you talk about these people making these big sales, right? Selling these agencies and selling these businesses. So you're like, all right, well,
yeah,
I walked away from 2 million. So if my business was making me 2 million and you're looking at an 8X or 10X, let's just do 10X, right? So you're saying, okay, that,
I don't know if that happens on the life insurance side, by the way, but maybe.
okay, let's say 5X. Let's go low. Let's say 5X.
And sometimes it's EBITDA, even though your agency was one of the most profitable agencies I knew about, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, what was your profit margin, you think, percentage-wise, if you had to guess this year?
it was, I probably, if I made 2 million, I probably spent 500K to do that. I think
That's insane.
But like,
because the average company in the U.S. Operates on about a 20% margin.
Yeah.
He was at
300%.
a 7. Well, yeah, but 75% of it
right.
was profit, which is freaking nuts. Yeah.
But then you look at the sale value, right? So it's like, all right, well, I built a business that apparently didn't have a value I couldn't sell that could get taken away from you, right? So if that was in the independent world,
yeah,
then now you're looking at, so there's a couple things.
Someone probably would have paid $7.5 million, $1.5 million a year profit, EBITDA, 5X, $7.5 million. And there may have been people. I mean, the situation you were in, they wouldn't have bought it. But like, if you were, that's
what I'm saying. So like, you walked away from that. Well, what if I build the same thing in 5 years, make the same income, plus you actually have the asset that has that value, and then where can that asset go over time? So it's not that I walked away from 2 million. It's like, if I didn't leave, I'm missing out on 50 million or whatever that number is.
Here's one thing, because a lot of people in the industry are going to, call BS on a bunch of different things, right?
Cool. Let's go.
Right. They will. And I'm only going to go into this so far, but I am curious, because I always want this to be a positive show, but I am curious, like, I think too many people are told if they just leave their company, everything is rosy on the other side. I don't think that's necessarily true in most cases. What's your thought?
Yeah. So that's a good one, right? So there's a couple things, because you hear a lot of, we were in a very safe system, right? I always say we're like in the bowling alley, and they got the rail that's on the bowling alley, right? You can't really be a superstar, but guess what? You're not gonna have any gutter balls. I
still thought you were a superstar. Let's be honest.
Okay, right? But so I'm
and
like,
there, you were a global superstar.
That's it. So it's it's getting out of the kiddie pool and going into the real world, right? But
I love these analogies.
The funny thing is, you got to think about it. So I'm like, all right. You hear a lot of horror stories, I tried building as a broker, chargebacks, all these things. And then you start looking at, okay, cool. So what's important? And these are the things that, because I me, I'm obsessed over this stuff, dude. I'm up at 3:30 in the morning. I'm like,
I thought you didn't work much.
I am now. I'm back to work. I am out of retirement.
Even before you thought you retirement. He wasn't retired, but you thought about it a lot, because you were freaking FaceTiming me at 9 p.m.
I was
going to
call you at 3:30 this morning and be like, yo, what you doing, man?
Yeah, I mean, nobody else knew you were FaceTiming me, but you were,
So you got to look at, there's a couple things that are important. Leads are number one, right? So you got to control the leads. You have to have a good lead system, right?
Also, too, before you keep going there, because I want to go there, but I think I was, just to put this on the record, I think I was probably one of the few people that was probably not encouraging you to do your own thing. I never encouraged you to do your own thing.
Never did.
Not once.
Never did.
Ever.
Never did.
That would shock people.
Yeah.
By how much we talked.
Yeah.
Because we still talked a lot.
Yeah, you never did. You told me I had a good thing. You told me I work less than most insurance people that you know. You told me the amount of money I'm making for the amount of work I'm putting in. I'm great. Like
I may do more in revenue, but I didn't profit. 75%.
You edified the heck out of what I was doing every single time we've talked. Yes, 100%. But yeah, so you just gotta look at a couple things. One, you have to control the leads, right? You have to have some kind of good lead system, whether it's a marketer that you're dealing with, or you're creating them yourself, or in-house because you have marketers, or you have some kind of deal with the lead vendor you trust or something, right? So you have to control that, because if they don't have people to call, then you're out of business, right? Then two, you also got to make sure those leads aren't being resold, right? Because then people are running business, then those leads are being resold, and then that stuff's getting rewritten, right? So like you got to protect that book of business. Then the second part is core values. Like you have to hire people that have good core values, right? You can't just hire every single person, right? So right now, at 1 out of 10 people we interview, we're hiring. Right, most people we're not hiring. We're turning and it completely changed.
And is it because the 90% doesn't want to do it, or because you don't want them to do it, or a combination?
They're not invited. Right, they're not invited because
now or before?
No, before I would hire everyone because we're on bumper rails. We're safe. We had a very safe system.
If they would have accepted, if they would have wanted to get a license and sell, you would have tried. You would have given them a shot.
So typically, unlicensed agents are different, right? Unlicensed agents, for the most part, you're going to give anyone a shot.
But you were hiring more unlicensed than licensed, right?
Nah, towards the end, it was most huge team of brokers, lots of brokers.
It was surprising me the amount of people that were, independent, and then they were like, also had a contract through you. Like, way more people than I thought. Now, I think we played a role in that, sure, but like that shocked me. The most random conversations. They're like, I'm also working with David. I'm like, really?
So when I first started, a lot of my recruiting was done on job boards. So on the job boards, you're gonna get mostly unlicensed people. And then when I started running Facebook ads, it's really easy to target licensed people. You're gonna get more licensed, right? Yeah. So that's what happened. I just realized that the amount of interviews that
you started spending a lot on ads too.
I spent over $250,000 last year.
It's cool.
So that's
cool.
so
like, is that half of the 500K?
You know
what's crazy is I think you put most of the 500K that you were spending into ads and job
That's
boards.
all it was. That's what I'm saying. So I could have shut it off. Like I could have been like 99% profitable, right? Because I literally could have got rid of all my expenses.
It's crazy.
But
it's crazy.
I like growing. It's fun.
True. I mean, you must have also had a bunch of good people involved for you to
amazing people. Dude, we got a great team.
Passively be retired and all, whatever, right? Like to work a little bit less. Like how many hours do you think you actually worked before? Seriously.
I work a lot, but I also, I'm efficient with how I work, right? So I wake up early, I get some stuff done. So I mean, I'm working as much as anyone else. It's just like, what are you doing for work?
I think a lot of people act like they're working and they just do stuff just to do. You do seem very efficient with your time.
Yeah.
And you've always had some VAs and like, some staff, and like there's just certain things you just don't have to do. You don't need to really do it,
Yeah. So we have an amazing staff. I mean, I got recruiters, I got ops manager, I got VAs, I got a writer, I got an editor. I mean, so
cool.
With all that, you get a lot done, right? So it's not like I'm not working. My work's building the team that's getting the work done for me, right? And cool. I know you understand that well.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just definitely, putting a lot more, putting time in now, because now it's like in the creation, right? It's like, all right, cool. So how do I build an IMO that people want to come work with, right? Because now I'm turning down 9 out of 10 people, right? Which means I need to attract more people. I need to attract more good people.
What's the reasons you're turning people down?
One, we're really digging in. Like, do you have any debt, any vector? Are you committed? Like trying to figure out where their core values are.
How do you know core values and commitment level that quick?
Yeah, so I made an extensive script, and we're going through, and we're just, we're interrogating people basically, and just trying to figure out like where they're at, and like what's their goal with us, right? If there's like, hey, I just want to add a couple carriers with you, right?
What would you say?
Why? Like why? Why does that make sense? Because to me, that's a red flag. Right? Is it because you have chargebacks with the other ones and you want me to not see that?
Or they're maybe not, or they're maybe not selling. Yes. Like if they've been in the industry for 3 years and they're not really doing that well. They're not really selling that much. Does it make sense? I don't
Well, then
know.
they should be fully committed, right? Now, if hey, David, listen, I've been licensed for 5 years. I'm willing to do whatever you say.
Yeah.
I have all the hours in the day of work, and I'm willing to invest in leads, and I will do every single requirement. Come on board. Come on board. Let me see if I could be the guy to help you be successful.
Yeah.
I'm with that person, but it's the person that says, hey, David, I don't have a lot of time to give you, but I would like to work with you. But I also have my health license, my PNC license, and I also sell a lot of different products, and I have 46 carriers, but I'd love to work with you too, but I won't be able to give you that much time. That person just wouldn't be a good fit for us at this moment.
Yeah. Because you also need to put your time into people that want help.
Well, that's the thing. The people right now that work with me, they're getting me personally.
And you got to get $2 million back to $2 million a year as fast as you can.
Yes.
Frankly.
Well, that's the fun part. It's like,
Yeah.
let me see if I could do what I did in 6 years in a year. And then what's cool is like,
Can you?
We're about to find out. That's
Who
it.
thinks he can,
That's
man?
the goal.
Yeah.
We're about to find out.
If anybody could, it's probably you.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
Maybe
the
me
fun
too.
part. You could definitely do it. That's it.
Freak, what I've went through the last 18 months after buying marketing, I would agree. Yeah. Business is not always easy, man. It's tough.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So that's it. But the thing is, they get me now. They get me because I'm in a virtual office, like 9 to 8 p.m., 9 to 9, right? So like now every single person in my organization is getting mentorship from me directly, basically.
Yeah, what are you spending
Which
most of
didn't
your time
exist.
on now? Talking about time management, efficient, and all that. What do you now that you started your own thing? What are you spending most of your time on?
Yeah, so I'm obsessing over creating the best leads, right? Creating the best leads, getting to the agent's hands as soon as possible, and then paying attention, right? Not just like, hey, here's the leads.
Sure.
Like paying attention, like, okay, how many are getting closed? What's it costing to acquire a client? Like get into the details, right? And then checking, like I had an agent send a spreadsheet of all her deposits, and I'm looking at stuff and I'm making sure because I want to track the data and be like, all right, cool. So our average agent spends $1 and gets $4 back.
What's it been so far? Do you know?
Right. It's still a little early to but it's definitely
the goal.
It's night and day different.
You think it's better?
100, like insane. Like every fear I had.
Somebody's calling BS on that too.
Every fear they could call BS all they want. So I won't be able to do what I've done in 6 years and watch. Just sit back and watch. But no, every fear I had just disappeared. Every fear I had about like this is gonna be harder, that's gonna be harder, that's gonna be harder.
Yeah.
It disappeared. And
I do think the independent world is a lot harder.
It's harder if you don't have leads. It's harder
And
if you hire crooks.
Yeah.
And most people don't have leads, and most people will hire every single person, and they end up being crooks.
You're right. You're right about both accounts.
That's it.
That's the only reason. That's the reason Kaboom exists. If all these companies actually did a really good job, nobody would need me.
Yeah.
But it's freaking exploding for that reason.
Yeah.
You are
And
absolutely correct on that.
everyone I talk to, every problem I have, you know what I mean, is leads, right? So it's like you got to solve that problem. That's the demand.
Do you think that's the biggest problem people have in the industry?
100%.
Because you got a bunch of buddies and mentors and everybody else. It's like, no, it's sales skill. No, it's work ethic. No, it's product knowledge. No, it's coachability. Whatever. You know what I mean? But the truth is, you are 1,000% right. I've always agreed. It is 100% leads first because you don't have anybody to talk to. None of those things even matter.
Yeah, you can't learn if you have no one to talk to.
Nope.
I mean, when I came in this industry, I wasn't even looking to get my insurance license, but somebody said, hey, this guy's killing it. You should go talk to him. My only question was leads.
Yeah.
That was the only question because if you have enough leads, and there's different. There's a lot of definitions for leads.
You could say I've got cold data list. Or I've got thousands of
There's
age
a lot of
leads.
definitions for
nobody
leads.
wants to freaking work age leads, bro.
Dude, the thing
They don't.
So the difference is, right, when our agents are calling these leads, they're saying everyone knows what it's about. It's not take me off a list, don't talk to me. Everyone knows exactly what it's about. And the other thing is we don't have to be depending on the lead, sometimes you want to be tricky, right? You like don't leave voicemails and stuff. Like now it's real simple. It's real direct. You call them, they don't answer, you leave a voicemail, let them know exactly who you are and what you want to do.
So you like to leave a
text
voicemail
message.
thing. Yeah, good.
Yeah, well, again, it just depends. Like if you have a lead from 90 days old or whatever,
Right,
you got to be a little tricky. But if you got a lead instantly, Like, you know what I
I
mean?
love that you say tricky.
Yeah.
But actually, a lot of people are
It's Halloween.
yeah, yeah. Tomorrow, right?
I don't know who keeps track. Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. He is busy now. He's out of retirement. He knows he don't even know what day it is now, man. That's like he had 6 Saturdays and a Sunday.
Is it October
before.
again?
That's good. I would totally agree. I think the lead piece, the fact that you're focused on that.
Yeah,
smart.
so that's number one, and
It's hard.
then the other thing, what I'm doing too is like, all right, well, you know, my thing's always been helping people build businesses, right? And then the next step's gonna be help people build IMOs, right? Like that's the vision.
Yes, that brings up a good point, right? Like I think one of the things that comes up a lot is if let's say someone's new, you know, they're new to you, new to the industry, they're watching, and they're hearing IMO and start your own thing and all that stuff. Like, well, what does that mean for the everyday person?
You know, the one thing I could definitely tell you, you hear a lot of people talking about, oh, I want to get direct contracts. I want to get direct contracts. I want to get direct contracts.
Good luck.
Well, that's the first part. But the second part is like, okay, and when you build, who's your support system to deal with all the contracting?
Correct.
Right?
I had a carrier in here yesterday. They're like, we don't give direct contracts to anybody.
Yeah.
Sitting right there yesterday.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is. It's, you know, it's not as easy. And the thing is, a lot of times people don't realize that, you know, just because you get a direct contract doesn't mean it would be higher.
Correct.
That's
actually a lot of times it's lower.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, like, you know, there are some companies that will give them and it ends up being low. But the thing that I'm learning is, you know, there's the IMO, right? It's going to have some systems and processes for you to plug into. So like if you just want to be a personal producer and like that's your only plan, then okay, cool. Like if you get it direct. But if you plan on hiring an agent or agents or building an agency, like you need that support. Like you need it. Like it's like McDonald's, right? You're plugging into the working system, right? The working franchise system. So like that's, to me, like that's what the IMO does for you, is that's the working system. Like, you know, again, agents are struggling because they don't have leads.
Yeah.
Okay, boom, we provide leads. Agents are struggling because they don't have training. Boom, we provide training. Agents want to sell on the phone virtually. Well, we have a virtual call room, right? We have our kickoff meetings every day at 9
tell people about that. I think the one of the things that more people are starting to do, but not everybody's doing it yet. And that you were probably ahead of the curve, to be honest, with a virtual call room. What does that mean?
Yeah. So our agents every day, basically from 9 till 9, you know, before the last agent gets off, they're on basically a Zoom meeting and they're working real time. So we want to simulate a call center. So just think about like a real call center. If you were selling on the phone, you'd be in this call center. If you need help, you get help right away. You have someone there to help you right away. It was the same thing. So we have brand new agents that know nothing, and they're going through the application and they're talking to Miss Jones and like, oh man, I don't know what to do. And they're like, put Miss Jones on mute. I'm like, hey, anyone could hear me? Oh, hey, what should I do about this question? She doesn't have an email. What should I do? How can I handle this? Right? Boom, real time, you have an answer.
Cool.
Or an underwriting question or something about a medication or anything. You have, not just you have like people to ask, like like I got some really good producers.
Really good.
Right? So like you have people that are like multi 6-figure earners on their own pen, like right there. Like it doesn't matter if they're your upline or anything. They're there to help. We actually just did this exercise, and maybe hopefully some people could use this because I thought it was really cool. But I signed everyone a battle buddy.
Battle buddy.
Everyone gets a battle buddy, right? And it does not matter.
Did you learn that at CrossFit?
No, I learned that in the Army.
Yeah?
In the Army, yeah, you get a battle
Were
buddy.
you in the Army?
Yeah.
Dude.
That's it. I was in the Army, 2000, 2004.
Wow.
First thing they do is assign you a battle buddy.
Did I know that, or did I just forget?
You just don't pay attention to me when I talk to you, man.
You guys believe him? Battle buddy.
Yeah, so I signed everyone a battle buddy regardless of their hierarchy, right? Because this is what builds our culture. This is what makes our culture so strong and so special. Is it's not like, oh, Cody's asking me a question, but I'm not going to get paid an override, so I'm not answering it. That does not happen in this organization, right? So, and now with the battle buddies, most of the people, they have nothing to do with each other financially, but they're holding each other accountable, what time they're going to start, you know, what their lead investment's going to be, what time they're going to finish, right? So it's just building like this. Like I want to have this, you know, again, you start thinking about like lifestyle, right? And I want to have this like organization that like, yeah, we're making money, but we're doing it going on cool trips. We're doing this going, snowboarding in Aspen, and we're doing this, hanging out with Cody and
I'm in for all that.
Like, just I want to have this like really, really cool like lifestyle that like everyone just really just enjoying themselves. Everyone, bills are paid, everyone's enjoying themselves, right? Cool. And everyone gets along, and that's harder in a sales organization. People tend to find reasons to fight for some reason.
A lot of competition, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. You built a community and a culture that want to hang out, want to help. They're all doing it together. Do you still have any agents doing field sales or?
No.
It's awesome.
No, 100% telesales. And I was a field sales agent too, right?
Yeah.
So like, I mean, but I think it's,
That's how you started.
Yeah. And doing it all over again, it's just, I didn't know better.
Mm-hmm.
Right. COVID got us to switch over the phone and we did it really fast. Thank goodness, just amazing agents and amazing team.
Cool. Were some of your bigger producers still filled at that point?
Yeah. We were everyone, 99% were filled.
Wow.
Yeah. So 99% were filled. COVID happened. They didn't lock us down yet. I'm watching the news. I'm like, these people are going to be scared when we show up to their house.
100%.
And I just called everyone up. It's like, guys, new rules. We're selling the phone. Starting now. Take every lead you ever got.
Shut up.
Yeah, take every lead you ever got, and they're direct mail leads. Make a big pile in front of you, right? Because they're all direct mail printed out. I was like, all I want you to do is call the first one, flip it over, call the next one, flip it over, because I knew they knew what to say. And if we started focusing on what to say, scripting, and all these things, we all would have been stuck. If I focus on the simplest activity, which is call the lead and move forward, when they answer the phone, they're going to figure out what to say. And we had our best month, 100% on the phone. I think it was like April. I think April was like the first month of COVID, like before, like
it happened a little bit in March, and then first full month was probably April.
Yeah. April was our best month, and it was 100% on the phone.
Wow,
and it was insane.
It was quick.
And it woke me up. I was like, wow, we've been missing a real opportunity. And before that, I had 2 agents ever sell on the phone, and their average week was probably less than $3,000 in submitted business, which is not enough money to make money as an agent.
It's not good. Yeah, not enough when you start.
Not enough with lead costs.
Lead costs. Yeah.
If it's $3,000 a week and it's all referral work, then
how important? What is like if someone's trying to understand the lead cost and lead game and CPA and all that? Like, talk through that a little bit. What does that look like? How should they be thinking through the math?
Yeah, it's funny because I'm going to do a training. I'm going to do this in the Facebook group for sure. At least in the Facebook group. I might do it more, but I'm going to build a spreadsheet. I'm going to show agents how to track their cost to acquire a client. But yeah, you have to look at that. You have to look at the lead cost. So let's just say a lead costs $66, right? Yeah. And let's say you need 10 of them, right? Let's say out of 10 you get 2.
A lead costs how much?
I'm just throwing a number out there. $66, let's say, right?
It's final expense lead.
I know it's expensive lead, right?
Pre-sold? No, I'm just
kidding. It's someone who wants it, but let's use $50 to round number. So let's say a lead costs $50, and you dial 10 of them, and 10 of them it costs you. You get let's say you get 2 presentations, so that means it costs you $100 to get a presentation, right? And so you start looking at those things, and then out of those presentations, how many presentations turn into sales? So like, what's the cost to make a sale, right? So you start looking at those things. So it's like, how do you bring that cost down? And when you start bringing that cost down, then drastically, like you scale that not over that one sale, but you scale over weeks, months, and a year. Yeah. Like you could change an agent's income from like $20,000 to $80,000 by just getting the leads dialed in for them. Right, so that makes a big difference.
Increase closing rate or lower the price of the leads.
Right, when the price, there's a couple things like the price, the closing ratio, make a big difference. And then
you can't control the closing rate though.
No, you can control the closing rate, but what I did notice is when you have higher quality leads and you get into the agents faster, their mental state's better, right? Because when you're calling leads that you don't get right away, right? And you're dealing with a lot of, I didn't do that, I didn't fill that out, take me off your list, right? Yeah. That mentally affects that agent. But if every single contact that you make, and they're like, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, and you're able to get presentation in, because as long as you're getting presentation, it doesn't have to be sales, but if you're getting presentations in,
it gives me a lot of confidence.
Yeah, it builds confidence, exactly, right?
And I'm talking to people, so I'm not sitting there thinking about not talking to people.
Yeah. So like when you increase the mentality, and then I think too, like, if an agent's like beat up all day, like their closing ratio is just naturally going to be lower, right? Because they're not confident. If you raise that agent's confident, their closing ratio is going to increase, right?
Yeah, it's funny because and this is true for you, by the way, too. Like I've had so many people over the years where they're like, they went out and wrote like, you know, made $1 million, you know, became a millionaire in 3 years, where all the different stuff, where they made 10 grand their first week. You know, you hear the impressive stories, right? Of just, most of the people were like, I didn't know that wasn't normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Like I think people set their normal based on what other people tell them. Like it's like you telling an agent, like, hey, you should sell $2,000 a week, and then their first week they pop 6. Everybody's like, oh, that you're amazing. Oh my gosh, you're incredible. Like that's insane. That's never been done. They're gonna be like, oh, maybe I should work less. Maybe I'm thinking too big. Maybe you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's you know, people definitely have like different ceilings for sure on stuff like that.
Is it a personality thing?
I don't know.
Because everybody's definitely different in regards to that.
I always want more, right? But I think that's been, you know, I think that also a big reason why my drug addiction, right? You know, always wanting more.
Yeah.
You know, if I drink alcohol, I don't drink. I've been drinking over 11 years, but
At all,
0.
That's amazing, dude. Congrats.
And I never thought like drinking was my problem. Like I don't think anyone ever would describe me as a drunk or anything like that. But I never had one drink, right? Like I'm not gonna just have. I'm even not gonna drink. Like or we're getting drunk.
Somebody told me this yesterday, and then I do want to kind of dive into your past a little bit. Somebody told me this yesterday that it's interesting how if we were sitting here, and you know somebody walked in the room and was doing cocaine, you know, drugs, whatever. And they were like, hey, you want some? And we're like, no, we're okay. You know, they wouldn't be like, oh no, you should try some. However, in social settings and insurance, with alcohol, if people are drinking and you're not, it's like weird.
It's so weird. It's so funny.
And they pressure you into, would you agree with this?
Yeah, it happens. I went to it was so funny. I went to Vegas for an event when I was with a network marketing company. I went to a good event, GoPro. It's actually a really good event.
Yeah,
we should go.
What's his name?
You been there?
I would love to go.
We should go sometime.
I haven't. That's
I don't know if he does them in person anymore.
okay. I know what you're talking about.
But yeah,
is it Eric? No.
I feel like Eric Worry.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Big time network marketing guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but I went to one of his events.
That.
It was such a good event.
I didn't know you went. Thanks for the
years ago when I was a network marketer.
I was like, thanks for the invite.
Yeah, I didn't know you yet.
Before insurance.
It was your fault that I didn't know you yet. You weren't doing a good job.
True.
So you should have been the one that got me licensed.
Trying to get everybody to know me, man.
That's it. But went to this event. So it was a bunch of us, and you know, I want to hang out with them at the casino afterwards. And I didn't drink then. And you know, when you drink, you go get a round, and then everyone drinks it, and you get the next round. Well, they kept getting me a water. Right, so it's like the second time, the third time. I was like, "Whoa, we got to stop this." I was like, "Every time you drink a beer, I'm not gonna drink a water. Right? I'm not drinking 10 waters tonight.
I already have a bladder problem. Okay."
So, but yeah, people, it's always like this thing, and it's crazy because now, like, not drinking, like to me, like I still drink. I'm like, how do you feel? Like, how is that productive?
Interesting.
You're an entrepreneur. You got goals to crush. Like, you want to take over the world, and you're getting drunk. Like, how's that gonna help your goals?
So, okay. That's a good point. So do you think if they drink at all, they don't care about their success? Or is it a drink every now and then is okay, but getting drunk is a whole nother story? What's your opinion? Honest opinion?
Yeah. So one, I don't shame anyone or anything for drinking, right? Sure. That's their thing. But no, I just...
I mean, I didn't used to drink at all. Now in social settings, I do, you know, a little. I can't.
Yeah, you're not much of a drinker.
No. I don't ever want to be...
Everyone's a little
drunk.
Different. Yeah, everyone's definitely a little bit
impaired.
Different for sure.
I just don't like that. I don't know. The thought of that.
Well, I mean, one thing I know for sure is like going out on the weekends to go drinking, definitely not productive, right? To me, I rather focus on getting a really good night's sleep, good quality sleep, right? Like I'm in the Brian Johnson kick where I'm just trying to get really good quality sleep. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, going to dinner and having a glass of wine or something like that, I guess that's not... I don't think that's too counterproductive, right? You know,
right?
You know, going with some agents and getting drunk where you're just not really yourself. Like, you know, to me, when I'm spending time with agents, like that's a super important time for me. Like that is time for me to like get to know them better, to build relationships, right? So if I'm like drinking,
It's crazy how many events
doesn't make sense.
People are just like, everybody's just getting drunk at events.
Yeah, like it doesn't.
Wild.
It doesn't like makes like if the agents are doing it to enjoy it, that's fine. But like, my job is to build relationships with them, right? Like that's my job. Like, and I can't do that if I'm drinking, right? Correct. To me, like that's a selfish. That's like, you know, like I always tell, you know, girl that I'm dating, right? You know, or in the past when I was dating a girl that, you know, when I go on these like company events, like that's work for me. You know, like we could go on a vacation somewhere else, but I'm let you know, like my job is to like be there for my agents. Like whatever they want to do, like we're doing. If they want to go ride elephants, I'm riding an elephant. Like that's my job when I'm with my agents. You know, it's my job is to serve agents. Period. Yep. Right. You know, and that's what I do. So when I'm not with agents, then that's when I could, you know, that's when I'm not working. But if I'm working, I'm in service mode.
Do you think you would be in a position now, making the kind of money you're making, or we're making?
Listen, I'm broke now.
and actually, before I go there, what's it like to just be making $2 million and then it just stops?
So the thing is, I wasn't happy, right? I mean, there's levels of happiness. I mean, obviously, I was a happy person, but I seen that.
That's a scary thing.
It was, right? So I had to put a lot of thought into it. But, you know, there's two decisions I had to come up to. I'd be like, all right, cool. There's a good chance that they're going to shut off my income and never pay me another dollar. There's a good chance that I'll have to start again fresh from zero. And am I willing to do that? Right? And as different things kept happening, right, the scale started sliding to, I'm willing to do that, right? Now, right, obviously making a lot less money than I'm used to. You know, we did well. I mean, within 3 weeks, we over $200,000 in submitted business. So I'm very and just trying to figure out what we're doing still, right? You know, there's a lot of new things. So I'm confident I'll probably be able to double my income every month, you know, for quite some time. I'm pretty confident on that. But having more fun than I've had in a long time because I'm creating, building, and I'm in a place where no one could take it away from me. That was the difference, right? The difference was what had happened is I would figure out some really good recruiting method and I would start doing it. And then all of a sudden somebody didn't like it and my livelihood would be threatened. I'm like, okay, well, that sucks. But you kind of let the money pacify you, right? And you just kind of like, all right, well, I'm making a good income. And then you try something else and then you're like, oh, wait, this is working really well. And then someone didn't like this. And you're like, oh, okay, I got to stop that. So you stop. So that becomes like this thing that you don't want to be in, especially not as an entrepreneur, right? That's the whole reason you're an entrepreneur is because you don't want to live by other people's ideas,
or rules,
right? You want to do your thing like that. That's why, you know, I've been a business owner for some time now, even before I got my insurance license. Yep. So that becomes more valuable than money, right? When all your necessities are met, right? That becomes way more valuable than money. Now, obviously, if you don't have money, then that's an issue, right? It's like air, right? No one really cares until you don't have it.
Kind of need it.
Yes, then you realize that you do need it, but that's it. So that's the thing. I was like, all right, cool. I could, you know, I got some money saved. I could get my necessities met. I'm sure I could build this, right? Because I mean, last year we brought on over 2,500 insurance agents. So I know how to do it. So if I bring on 25 insurance agents over the next 12 months, I'm right back where I was, right? And I know how to do it. So it's just a matter of like, and I had to think like, all right, cool. Am I willing to?
You may not bring on 1,200, rejecting 90%.
Yeah, so that's the plan. We're gonna reject a bunch of them, but we're also gonna create some agents. We're gonna work on getting agents license and stuff. But
it's cool.
The coolest thing is nothing's static, right? We'll always adjust and pivot, and that's the other thing too. Like I like learning, adjusting, and pivoting versus not having control to do that.
Understood. I would agree with that. I like having control. I'm used to. I mean, it wasn't the case when I first started, but like I'm used to, you know, being able to do whatever I want, you know, and control my own destiny.
That's the best part,
right? Well, did you ever think you'd be in a position where you're making great money in insurance and not drinking and just being the human being that you are today? If you look back a decade ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, I think you said you haven't drank for 11 years, but you know.
No. So I worked in the oil business. That was my career. I worked in the oil business.
What'd you do in the oil business?
So I worked for an inspection company, and what we did is when a ship comes in with oil, gas, it comes to the terminal, and then they got to transfer the petroleum product or whatever it is to the terminal. So someone has to measure what's on the ship. They have to measure what's in the tank, and then figure out how much is being moved, right? Because this stuff's worth a lot of money, obviously, right? And then a lab has to test the stuff to make sure I'm selling what I'm supposed to be selling, that it meets certain specs. So I worked for companies that did that, and that was when I was in addiction. So I always thought that was the business I was going to be in. I was working on making six figures. Went to an office, managed people, did operations and stuff like that. So insurance was never on my radar. But when I was a kid, one of my friend's dads told me, man, you can make a lot of money with insurance. You get your license, and then.
How old were you?
I was a teenager, man. I was in high school probably.
What'd you think when he said that?
Well, it just stuck with me because I was always into making money, and he's like, you make a lot of money, and then.
Yeah, but you're probably thinking, insurance though.
Well, see, my whole thing is I never was really focused on the vehicle. I was always focused on the destination, right? So if I can make a good living, right? Because people get so focused on the details, but it's like, all right, cool. What do those give you, right? Because I mean, there's I saw I forgot, it was like a meme or something. It was a guy sold plastic or something, but made stupid money, right? It was like he sold like a little. Right, it was just a vehicle. Who cares what he's selling? It could be the most boring thing in the world, but look at his life. Does it look boring? Right? Yeah. Jeff Bezos, he's selling books, right? It doesn't look like he has a boring life, right? It's just selling books.
But how much is important to believe in what you're selling and be passionate about it and
exactly
and have fun?
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to sell garbage and stuff, but sometimes building the businነት, right? I mean, is.
But you also have been more fascinated with building a business than personally selling.
The goal was always to build a business, right? It's just what are we going to be selling, and then what kind of opportunity can I give someone else? Because that's it, right? So really, what am I selling mostly? I'm selling an opportunity. Yep. Right. So if I'm selling an opportunity, how can I make that opportunity better than what else is out there, better than the rest of the market? And that's what I'm hyper focused on. So that's why we're focused on the leads. We're focused on the systems. We're focused on the mentorship. We're focused on the training. We're focused on all the SOPs. And more importantly, I'm focused on helping someone duplicate what I've done. Yeah. Right. Because that's what people don't want to be employees, right? I want to find people that want to duplicate.
Correct. Yeah.
But back to the insurance question. No, I mean, I don't think anyone thinks they're going to be insurance agents. And I never thought, I would be. Yeah. Thought I would stop doing drugs at some point, hopefully, right? That was a big goal. But I never thought I didn't realize drinking was such a big part of it, right? Because when I drink, right now, right, put some drugs in front of me, horrible idea. Have a couple drinks, put some drugs in front of me, maybe not that bad of an idea anymore, right? So that's what I realized. So that's
how
why.
How much does one thing lead to the next?
Well, to me, I think about it like your thought processes, right? My thought processes now are super clear, right? I make really good decisions, right? One drink, your decisions get a little worse. Two drinks, they get a little worse, right? 6, 7, 8 drinks and a long night, right? Spending time in the club or the bar, make really bad decisions, right? So then all of a sudden, drugs or other things seem like a better idea. So I learned that. So I'm like, all right, cool. So drugs are definitely the thing that were probably going to kill me. So, but drinking was going to help lead into that. So I had to give up both. And in the beginning, what I did is I gave up drugs a bunch of times, but the drinking always led back to it.
How hard was it to give all that up?
I tried for most of my life, right? I tried quitting since I was a teenager.
What age did you start?
30, I think it was 30. Let's see. So I'm 44, 11.
What age did you start?
Oh, start? It's teenager. 15, 16, something like that. Yeah.
How do you get exposed to drugs at 15?
That's it. Hanging out with the wrong people, man.
Yeah.
Right.
It's cool.
Now I try to hang out with 7-figure earners. Trying to find some 8-figure earners. If you're an 8-figure earner and you want a friend, I'm here for you.
Let's go. I haven't one of them made you close. I have not taken one company to 8. I've taken a combination of companies to 8, right? But
we were an 8-figure company.
Do what?
We did 15 million in sales last year.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same with insurance. Does it count the same? I don't know. I was wondering.
I don't
like to claim things that are fake.
I don't, but the insurance industry does.
Yeah.
Right? Because I do. That's one pet peeve of mine in the industry. They're like, so there's, some people are like, I'm a $100 million company. I'm like, okay. Like, you make $100 million.
Cumulative? Yeah.
It's normally cumulative.
Yeah.
They're like, I've done 100 million in over 8 years, over 15 years. I'm like, okay. But also too, premium, with overrides and stuff doesn't translate to revenue.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's
personally
everything.
Selling on the independent side, it can.
That's why I like to be, we did over 15 million, but and then when I say to people, over 17,000 insurance policies.
Yeah.
And that's when, someone's like, oh, wow. Right. I was on the phone. I was actually on a call with a carrier, right? A carrier reached out to me because I think they're, looking for this distribution system that we built. And when I told them the premium amount, they didn't really say anything, but I told them how many policies, and then it lined up to that $65 a month premium, and they saw that real fast and like, wow. And did that my 5th full year of having my license, right? So like those stats. But yeah, it's funny because people highlight a certain stat or whatever, and I'm rounding down, right? It was like 17,000 and change, right? It wasn't 16,000 going up.
That's smart too. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of exaggerating up naturally.
They're always going to catch you.
You gotta round up.
I always round down. Always round down. So.
I like that.
Yeah, like last year was 1.5 million, but it was like 1.5 and change, right? It's not 1.6.
People respect. Like I've been on 2 podcasts today this morning before this, and I was talking about, with Kaboom, we've had just shy of 20,000 agents go to the site, unique visitors in the last 30 days.
Wow.
19,874, something like that, right? It was just shy of 20.
I'm surprised you barely talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. Ever. However, data is important, but I was giving I try to give as close to the actual stat as possible.
Yeah.
There's so many people that would be like, yeah, 20, we're like 30, 40, 50,000. Or what drives me even more crazy is someone would be like, someone made $5,000 once, 1 week, in their last 3 years.
Yeah.
I make $5,000 a week. Yeah. Or somebody writes 100, people that you know, or that you contract in the past, by the way, that are now like the world's greatest trainers or or marketers or whatever. They made $100,000. They wrote $100,000 in 1 month. Didn't issue it all.
Yeah.
Probably wrote a bunch of garbage, but now they write $100,000 a month. Yeah. Right? What's your opinion on all that?
It's funny because
people don't know any better. They don't know what to believe anymore.
Well, the thing is, the most valuable currency is your reputation. That's your most valuable currency right now, right? People are paying for attention, right? But once you get the attention, you have to build a relationship and you have to keep the reputation, right? So it's not like, hey, found me, but I'm a liar. Correct. I'm a cheat. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And then the other thing people forget about is that people aren't dumb, right? So I can tell you something right now and get you to believe it right now.
Yeah.
But
let's try it.
But that thought's still going through your head, and then later on you might get some information. The minute you're like, wait a second, David told me something and I just kind of caught him at a lie, everything I say after that's a lie.
Yeah, and then you do question everything.
Yeah, you start questioning every single thing, right? So now there's no relationship, right?
That's
you know
good.
What I mean? So to me, that's the most important thing. So I'd rather just be brutally honest. Yep. Right. So that way,
even if it's bad.
No, there's no reason not to. Dude, I will call myself out. I mean, I've told someone something where I thought it was facts and an hour later realized I was wrong and text them, hey, my bad, actually here. And
I think you did that to me one time.
Where it makes me look bad, right?
Yeah,
Because I rather that than you think that I'm telling lies on purpose, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, we could all make some mistakes, but And that's the most valuable thing, and that's why people trust me, right? So that's why people, they'll go to the end of the world for me because they know. I always said one thing. I always said, listen, every decision I make is how do I put money in my insurance agent's pockets and not mine. See, most people do it backwards, and you can only do that so long before the agent notices. Yeah. Right. Then they just need to find another place to go before they're gone, and then you act surprised why they left. Right. You know what I mean? They left because you've been making money on their back way too long. Right. And they're not dumb. They just were too scared or not ready to say anything or do anything about it. That's the thing. Most people don't say anything when they know something.
They're afraid to speak up. It's
people don't like confrontation. They don't.
I mean, dude, people are even afraid to say who they're going to vote for nowadays. I was at the Go High Level conference, and Billy Jean was one of the speakers. Billy Jean is marketing, whatever. You probably know Billy Jean. He was on stage at the beginning of the day. I spoke at the end of the day. I was in there watching him because I'm like, dude, I've heard a lot of good stuff about this guy. Seen him everywhere online. He's created some crazy freaking ads. He asked people. He's like, Who's voting? Stand up if you're voting for Trump. People stood up.
What state was it?
I was in Texas.
Okay, yeah, Texas.
But it was entrepreneurs
You
from
do that
across the country.
You do that in California. Yeah.
Yes, but then he's like, "Hey, stand up for Kamala," right? Well, if it was based on what happened in that room, like it's obvious who's going to win by a crazy amount. But
it was Texas.
It was Texas. And however, people, but like I would say about 20% of the room, 10 to 20% of the room actually stood up at all for the question. Period. Yeah. Because people are afraid. Now people are like ridiculed or belittled for believing a certain thing or, wanting to vote a certain way, right? Like politics in my brain because of next week. But you get the idea. Like it's crazy how sheepish people have become, and they're like afraid. And I don't want to ever like, polarize my audience or like, isolate a bunch of people. Because at the end of the day, I don't care who they vote for. Like, dude, I want to help people. Yeah. That's what I do. That's why you don't hear me just talk about certain topics all the time. But at the end of the day, why have people become afraid to speak up? To your point.
Yeah. So I think people don't like confrontation, right? But you have to.
I think that's true for.
You have to understand. So like my whole thing is like, all right, cool. So this is what I know, right? And most people don't want to speak up, right? So it's like, all right, cool. So what do I do? What's my part on that? And how do I fix that, right? So one thing I do, like I was talking to an agent today, and I was like, hey, listen, this is what I need you to do. Anytime you see an issue, problem that you know of, bring it to my attention because I want to create the best system out there, right? You have to like see where people...
You're wanting to highlight problems.
Right, but you have to like verbally express that to people.
Not in like a complaining, I'm looking for every negative thing. But like, hey, if it's a problem,
you have to
I'd
do that.
rather know than not know.
Yeah, because some people are too scared, right? Because if you lead with fear, people are never going to share these problems. They're not going to talk about these problems, right? So then they don't talk, and then all of a sudden they blow up and something happens, right? And you're wondering like what just happened, but it's like that's the environment you created. Yep. So like for me, like literally, I'll have a Zoom meeting, and I'm like, all right, any problems that anyone's dealing with? Did anyone not get enough leads that they're supposed to get? Did anyone get leads in the wrong state? Any issues with the leads at all,
that
right?
Always happens, by the way.
Exactly. You can't control it, right?
Not entirely.
How much respect do you think I'm getting that I'm looking to fix problems?
Correct.
Not only looking to fix problems, but like bring them to me so we can work on fixing them, right?
That's good. It's funny you say that. You know where I get my best solutions for problems that are happening that I don't even know are happening. My sales team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if you don't know,
to people every day.
Yeah, and so you want to have this environment where, like, hey, tell me the problems you're hearing.
100%.
Because you can't fix them, and that's it. Like, as an entrepreneur, your job is to solve problems. You get paid to solve problems, so you need people to bring you problems to solve. Yeah, you do. And if you have like this whole mentality, we can't be negative, we can't complain, we can't tell people how we feel. Well, now you're just like creating this culture that's ran by fear, right?
How many? And this comment has nothing to do with where you came from.
Of course not.
Not for me, it doesn't for sure, but like it doesn't. That is prevalent in so many freaking companies around the industry. Yeah. I know some massive freaking companies that it's like led by fear and control. And gosh, man, that does not work. Long term, it does not work, man. Like telling people what they can and cannot do, belittling them in front of people, all this stuff, dude. Like I've heard of some of the craziest things happening on Zoom from several different companies in the space. It is unbelievable. Like you're seeing some massive fallout right now amongst some companies. This is different, by the way, than what you think I'm talking about. Because of that.
Well, that's the thing. Again, back to the simplest thing. Stop assuming people are stupid. That's what it comes down to. Like, you know what I mean? If I push my agenda on you, you know what I mean, long enough that you're just going to go along with it? No. Yep. Like, people are going to eventually
shoot, the more I make my sales people feel stupid, the more they just go sell somewhere else.
Yeah. It's just going to happen.
And I've been a weak leader far too many times where I would do those things and publicly belittle people and all the freaking errant mistakes I've made over the years,
I made a zillion mistakes, right? You know what I mean? Definitely.
But at some point, you got to freaking learn from them.
Yeah. And that's it. You got to learn, right? Great book, Extreme Ownership, right? Every problem is your problem, right?
Jocko. Yeah.
Such a good book. But yeah, so that's it. So it's just like creating this environment where
people are going to wonder, like, where is an actual safe place based on this conversation today?
I got one. If you're an insurance agent, I got a safe place for you. So we make money.
We're gonna find
if
out.
you're not allergic to
It's
it,
new,
we
but
can
we're
help
gonna
you.
find out.
That's it.
No, I've always admired. Yeah, I've always admired just how raw. I think it's why we get along so well. Like, we are brutally honest with each other. Like, who else are you like as brutally honest with? Just about
Everyone.
Yeah, but
That's
I mean,
it. That's my thing.
than me. You know,
That's my thing.
no, you are. You're. I would say that is definitely who you are.
But again, like I think about what I want, right? You know, that's another thing. A lot of times people will demand a certain thing that they don't give.
Yeah.
Right. They'll demand a certain level of respect that they don't give. So like for me, like I think about like what do I want, right? And I'd rather somebody consistent and honest with me than for them to sugarcoat and tell me what I want to hear. Right. That doesn't help me. Like if you sit there and tell me what you want to hear, what I want to hear all the time, but then I hear you talking bad about me to somebody else, I'm like,
yeah, that
makes no sense. You know, I'd rather just be like, David, like you're screwing up. You need to do this, or you didn't do this right, or, you know, the way you did this wasn't right. And I'm like, okay, all right, cool. But as long as you're consistent with it, right? Like, and that's what I want to be. I want to be that consistent guy that's just honest with you.
That's a good point. I got caught like gossiping. I was playing golf with somebody one time. This has been several years ago. And I gossiped about something I'd heard. That person called me the next day. And apparently it wasn't true. I don't freaking know, but that's beside the point. However, I said, I can never be caught doing that again, man. Like, I just can't be involved in that. And that's why people never hear me talk about people. Because I can't. I hated that feeling.
It's a small industry.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, so it's like, all right, cool. Like, do people make mistakes, right? Right? You know, I'm not one to gossip, but I make
more mistakes than you.
No, I'm the best mistake maker here. For sure. I've out-mistaked you this year. I don't know. Let me check with my VA. She's got stats.
I've made a bunch.
But yeah, so like gossiping, right? So that's a good example. So there's, you know, definitely try my best not to gossip, right? But you know, sure. I might have done it before, or still will do it again. Maybe. But if the person calls me up and it's like, hey, you know, I heard you said this and this, you know, you're right, I did.
You also have you have a choice in how you respond to that too.
Like you got to respond, like you're right, I did, and then you know, I'll tell you a story actually. When I was in the Army, I was dating this girl, and I went to Cancun. And she was like the prettiest girl on the Army base, right? There's not a lot of girls on the Army base, you know. Maybe she's the only one, I don't know. But she was definitely the prettiest girl on the Army base. And so I went to Cancun. So all my guy friends were at a party with her, and they're all talking bad about me, right? They're trying to figure out how to, you know, take my girl, right? They're all drinking and partying or whatever. And these people were like my friends, like all of them, right? Were my friends, and we all worked together and stuff. So, you know, I heard, you know, this person. I walked up at every single one of them, and these were all like big guys, right? Everyone was a pretty big guy. And I was like, hey, man, you know, I heard you were talking bad about me, about, you know, having like a hate on Dave party, and like, oh, Dave, I don't know what you're talking about. And I went to one guy, and this is the guy I didn't have a relationship with, right? I knew who he was. We worked together. We had no relationship. I didn't have his phone number or anything. And he's like, you know what, Dave? You know what? I was talking bad about you. And I don't even know why, because I don't even know you. And I apologize. Dude, we end up being best friends after that, because I respected that, right? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And I would respect it from any other person. You know what, Dave? I was drunk. We started talking about, I just totally, I just respect honesty.
100%. I think too, that goes back to the book with Jocko's book. There's so many times where it is so easy to place blame. Like, I'll give you a real example. I had 3 specific sales reps who were making between $125 and $195 that I lost all of them within a couple months. And at first I'm like, they're stupid. They're idiots. What are they doing? Can't believe they would jeopardize this. This is the best place in the world. That's the dumbest decision they ever make. They'll regret it. They'll come back, tail between their legs. All this stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'm freaking all.
The all natural stuff that everyone's gonna say.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
However, at some point, I had to point the finger and say, they left because I didn't deserve to lead them yet. And I learned so much from that experience. And I there's been multiple times in my career where I've lost like half my sales team, or different things happen, or I lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 sales reps in a 90-day period. And every time we lose someone, either they found a way to enhance their life and do something different and do something special, do something better for their family. They're a human being. They can do whatever they want. And or I screwed up.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is like but you gotta give them love, right? You can't shame them for it, right? You got to give them love.
And I one of them that I had a great relationship with for about 6.5 years, I have apologized on multiple occasions. Yeah. And shot a text, shot a call.
It's all that self-development you do, man.
It matters.
It does. It makes a big difference. I'm not the same person I was a year ago.
Yeah. When did you start working out so much? Talk about self-development. When did that start happening? Because you guys can see some biceps and some chest muscles on this.
I think it's the lighting. You had good lights in here, man.
You were like $130 last time we were on the podcast.
$130.
Just kidding. You've always been.
No,
in
actually,
shape.
It's funny because
were you in this good shape last time you were here?
I was in pretty good shape.
To go back and look at the footage.
Last time I was here, I was pretty good shape.
Better or worse now?
About the same. About the same.
You guys could be the judge. Go look at the previous interviews.
About the same. Well, no, the previous interview. No, the last time was the course.
That's right.
When I came and did the course.
I forgot about that trip.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that trip didn't count because we didn't do a podcast.
That's right.
But yeah, before that, so it's funny because my team keeps on using like older pictures and stuff.
Well, yeah, that was only a few months ago. Yeah.
My team keeps using like older pictures and stuff, and I was like, hey guys, will you stop using those pictures? Use the newer pictures. Or else I'm wasting my time eating all this good food and doing all this running, right?
Yes.
Because they're using all these pictures. And it's funny because my girlfriend, so she there's a picture with me and you, and then a picture with me and Jerry Minor. And it's funny. So it's actually the cover on our Facebook group. We are insurance agents. So I got a picture with you on it, right? Of course.
I'm gonna go look at you promoting the Facebook
group.
That's
it. We are insurance agents. So every Thursday, 7 p.m. we'll be training, and no recruiting there too. So it's a safe place. But look at the cover photo. So I'm actually wearing the same shirt, and it's almost the same exact pose. And it's me with you, and then me with Jeremy Minor. And she showed me, and she's like, "This is crazy because it looks like I'm getting younger." But again, that's because I'm focusing on my sleep, eating right, taking care of myself. Insane, right? So cool, right? Do you love it?
Yeah.
You look great.
Exact same pose, bro.
It's so funny.
But you do
I didn't
look
do it on
better.
purpose.
Also, he's Jeremy shorter, so that helps. But
yeah, you are tall.
I am.
You're just as tall in person as you're.
I'm taller than Jeremy Minor.
Screen.
That or you grew. One of the two.
I've been working on growing. I've been putting a lot of emphasis on
Hold
growing.
the bar.
Dude, I do hang upside down. I do.
I love you.
I do hang upside down.
Yeah, so. You look better.
Yeah, she showed me that the other day.
You look younger.
Yeah, that's what I've been working on. Reversing my age. So that's it. Come work with me. I'll teach you how to make money.
You weren't in Puerto Rico the first time. This was 2022.
I was in Florida.
That was July of 2022, that picture of us.
That's what it was?
Remember?
Yeah.
Where were we at?
That was in Dallas?
Speaker dinner.
Speaker dinner. Okay.
After the event.
That's awesome that you remember that.
Yeah, dude.
I wish I had a memory like you. I'd be rich if I had a memory like you.
I remember. But my wife would not agree with this statement, but I remember quite a bit of stuff.
Dude, I DM'd your wife, man. She ignored me.
What?
I know. It was my heart, but my little heart was broken.
Know. She probably didn't even check it. She doesn't check her. I'm like, babe, I messaged you something.
I should have mailed her. I should have mailed her.
I don't see it. She'll be by.
It's cool. Good. I'll cry then. But I just wanted to officially do it. She's great.
This looks the corner picture with your team. Look, you're like 17 years
old,
old, bro.
That was like 2019, man. That was like my original agents, man. That was like my original agents.
Wow, that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool, man. We're having
All right, I'm joining the group.
You're in.
Boom.
You're in.
Well, I'm not in yet. I got to answer some questions. Do you want to be a 6-7-figure earner?
Do you?
Yes.
You do. Again, right? Continue.
For the 8th time.
We are insurance agents. Go to weareinsuranceagents.com.
What's your best email address? In this group, I give away a ton of value.
That's it. I'll give it to you.
Cody@CodyAskins.com. You guys are seeing me do this on the fly. I have a keynote training called Homeless to 7 Figures where I share my breakthroughs. Which phone number shall I text it to? I'm going to put it, but I'm not going to say it on the podcast right now. I'll get 4,000 messages. I love you guys. But I can help everyone. My team you can call them. But
I thought I seen you publicly give your phone number away before.
I've done it a bunch. I've done it a bunch.
You get a lot of phone calls.
Oh, I still get a bunch of random
Can't get anything done.
You know what's funny is I was at the Go High. I shouldn't say this, but this is true. I was at the Go High Level conference, and I was showing how I like their phone verification, which we use for like IUL Plus leads and annuity leads. And I showed their like the phone verification box, and like it's my favorite tool in High Level and all this stuff. I don't know tech that much, but I like that. And I advanced to the next slide, and then I was like, was that my real cell phone number sitting in that phone verification box? And I said that in front of 1,000 people. I had an ADHD moment. It was.
That's so funny.
My phone got freaking flooded, bro. It's funny because then Eric and Alex, other people that were at the event, were like, yeah, there was this group of people like all come up this one guy, and they're like, hey, we heard you had his number. You know, I'm like, oh my gosh, geez Louise. And then he's like, yeah, here it is. I'm like,
that's
free,
that's
all right. I like receiving them. I just don't love receiving them at 1 a.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to be asleep either
your
way,
ringer's on at 1 a.m.?
No.
Okay.
No. But my wife will be like, who is freaking, or if I do, or if it's like 10 p.m. or if we're at dinner on a Friday night, she'll be like,
I always like to FaceTime you on the weekends when you're hanging with the wife.
You do.
That's it. That's when things finally slow down for me.
Dude, but here's, okay, but why do I answer?
Why do you answer?
Why do I answer?
Because we have a real relationship?
Yes. And what led to that relationship?
What led to the relationship? Now you're quizzing me. Hold on here.
It's hard when you start quizzing people on the fly, too. It happens to everybody.
What led to that relationship?
Dude, you supported us.
Yeah, the support, yeah.
And it's so funny because I'll show her my phone when someone's FaceTiming or calling me.
Oh, to see if
she makes the decision on whether I answer or not.
That's good.
She does. And so if the truth is, I'm sorry, but if you're hearing this and I'm not answering, maybe you haven't supported us as much as you think you have. Because the truth is, like, if I ever wanted someone's attention, I supported what they were doing.
Well, the thing is, like, again, the relationships, like, okay, why do people post on social media? Right? I mean, everyone that
get attention.
But people post on social media because they want attention. But what do they want to do with the attention?
Help people monetize it.
Right. But what do they have to do that?
No, he's quizzing me. Get outside their comfort zone.
Build a relationship.
Yep.
Build a relationship. So if you're not
give them some value,
if you're not supporting someone and building some value, you're not building the relationship. So then you're wasting your time posting on social media if you're not willing to do that part, right? It's what I say all the time. Like a lot of times people are in my DMs, they want to sell me copywriting services, leads, all these different things, right? And masterminds and stuff. And like everyone's really good at that first part, like the sales process.
Yeah.
But the part they suck at is the fulfillment.
Yeah, how's your day? Oh, yeah.
The fulfillment they suck at, right? They do a really good job on telling you what they're going to do.
My previous business partner was not good at that.
Yeah, but they suck at the fulfillment.
He was phenomenal on the front end.
Yeah, and the fulfillment, that's the relationship part, right?
Yeah.
So like that's the same thing. So I'm posting on social media to get attention, but then once I get the attention, I'm failing at the fulfillment, which is building the relationship. Well, why don't you work on that part?
That's actually more important.
Way more important.
Yes.
Because you don't have to post as much. You don't have to get as much attention if you're building good relationships.
Correct.
So that's why I'm going to support you. If an agent comes work with me, I'm going to support them. If they leave me, I'm also going to wish them luck and support them and tell them, listen, I'm still here to help you. Matter of fact, come to my Facebook group and I'll still give you free training. Right? My agent, not my agent, come to my Facebook group. We'll get you free. Not just me, Cody Askins. We're going to have
Cody Askins.
Cody Askins again. Right? A lot of top producers.
Cody Askins.
John Wetmore, he's already scheduled. He's going to be in there doing some training, right? I'm sure I'll get Edward Pritchett, right?
John.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of dudes. Great people that make a lot of money.
They make a lot more than we do.
They do great.
At this point.
They do. Well, yeah, I'm just,
I'm broke, bro.
I got government benefits now.
Not as broke as you are at the moment, but
not as broke as you are. Is it? I guess you're paying for dinner tonight.
I'll pay for dinner tonight. I got you.
You got me this time.
We're not gonna have a glass of wine, but I'll pay for dinner.
That's it. I don't drink, so I'm a cheap date.
Well, and when someone's like, I don't drink, I got
the bill.
Yeah. Well, I got annoyed. Yeah, that too. But I got annoyed when people would be like, "What? Why not?" I'm like, that always annoyed me when I never drink. Or I just chose not to.
Yeah, I don't know why it's a big. It shouldn't be a big deal. Like to me, it should be a bigger, more deal. Like you're gonna drink, you're gonna poison yourself.
Yeah.
Really? That's it.
Crazy.
You know that's not good for your liver, right?
Yeah.
It's not good for your memory.
This has been a, dude. This has been. I mean, gosh, it's been over an hour. It's like this has flown by, dude. This is nuts. We could keep hanging too. Like it's
like this, like Joe Rogan stuff. This
this
will be your first Joe Rogan type podcast, dude. Like
probably
you'll probably get 30 million views. This isn't much different.
Keep speaking that into existence.
This isn't much different than the one that happened the other day, right? You got to be careful with like keywords, right? You don't want to say so many keywords. Because
you're talking about DJT and I don't know what his middle initial is, but JR.
Yeah. You got to watch out.
Podcast. Dude, that was insane, dude. That podcast got 23 million views in 24 hours.
And that's just YouTube.
A million
I listen to
an hour.
I listen to it on Spotify. So like, think how many people listen to on Spotify.
Shut up, dude.
Yeah,
I bet that thing got 100 million eyeballs within a day.
And think about how strategic that was too, right? Because they did that podcast.
The timing.
3 hours.
Stupid.
3 hours. They did that podcast for 3 hours, right? And then all the clips are just being posted like crazy now. So that's what's going to happen, right? We're going to take this podcast here.
Yep.
And
clip
then
it up.
and we'll clip this thing up.
When do you want to go for 7 hours?
Listen, I mean, I got time, dude. I'm not going to eat today.
At all?
Why not, dude? You're more important to me
than food.
So,
that's good.
Yeah, I mean, and then he's doing that other one. I mean, super strategic, man.
It's insane.
Super.
Well, love them or hate them, they're getting attention, man.
Exactly. Love him or hate him, right? Grant Cardone, right?
Yeah.
He said, you love me, you hate me, you still saw me, right? Is that what he says?
He does say that. Yeah,
He's
he
so
does say
good
that.
with it.
So we are insurance agents.
We are insurance
they want
agents.
to keep learning more. Well, what value do you bring to agents that need help?
So like we created the Facebook group. We are insurance agents. I want it to be a safe place that agents can go and not be recruited. I want it to be a place that people could get real training, right? Not just a bunch of fluff. More importantly, real training from people who actually done it. Right.
That's an anomaly.
Right. I know that's a big one. I see a lot of people. I joined someone's Skool group recently. And then all of a sudden he said he made like $1 million in a day. Or he had some like crazy claims. I was like on insurance. I sent you a pitch. I'm not gonna say who it was, but I sent you a thing to ask you if you knew who it was, and you said you did know who it was. But I know
exactly what you're talking about now without even going back.
Yeah, he had like some super claim, and I'm like, all right. And again, right? People aren't dumb, right? I was in his group. I was gonna learn, and then he made some claim that I knew wasn't true. I verified to make sure my hunch was correct, and I got out. Because I'm not going to sit there and learn from a liar. So we're going to have people, right? We're going to be very transparent. We're going to teach real stuff from people that really did it. And I have a great network, right? Because I'm friends with everyone at every single company. I have a great network of people. So we're going to invite some great people in there, do some real trainings.
Where'd you send that?
And have some fun.
I don't see it in my text, but yeah, you did. Maybe it was more than 30 days ago, but it did happen.
Yeah. So we are insuranceagents.com. We'll help you find that. And then, you know what I'm thinking too, and maybe you could help me with this at some point, but I'm thinking about doing We Are Insurance Agents retreats. Right?
I like that.
So build a cool network of people. We could Puerto Rico, Springfield, Missouri, like whatever people want to do,
Best place for sure. For sure.
Whatever people want to do. But yeah, I want it to be a movement, man. This is going to be a movement, and this is going to be a lot of fun, and whoever wants to be involved with it, we'd love for you to be involved. And we're not going to bash any companies, right?
Thank you.
I don't want to see any bashing. I mean, just not going to get approved. It's moderated.
I don't care who it is.
We're not going to bash
anyone. They shouldn't bash in any Facebook group.
No.
They just shouldn't. Like, most Facebook groups are meant to talk crap and bash insurance companies and IMOs.
Yeah. No bashing.
That's also, there's people always ask me, why don't you have a Facebook group? I'm going to just hang out in Dave's because and I was interviewed in Syndicate this morning, but that's a big reason why. Also too, like, people get kicked out of Facebook groups. The next thing they know, they can hate you.
Dude, it's like the end of the world. They got kicked out of Facebook group, right?
Bro. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if
it's crazy.
No,
that's good.
No bashing.
Good.
So there's no reason like that. Like, what do you gain from that? If I was bashing your company, would you come work with me?
No.
Why not? I don't get it. I'm bashing your company.
Weird.
Yeah, it's so weird, right? Let me talk bad about your mom and see if you'll come work with me. Like,
exactly.
Makes no sense at all.
Strange.
So crazy.
Well, I wish you nothing but success.
You're the man.
And good fortune, all the stuff.
We're
gonna eat Chinese. We're gonna Springfield's over. We're gonna eat a fortune cook. We're
having Chinese. Is that we're having Chinese?
I don't know. We'll see what you're not gonna vote for Chinese, but we'll see what you want.
I thought you guys. I think your team did a reservation, man. You guys first
for
class
lunch or for
here.
dinner.
Oh, that's right.
I think we did do something for dinner. I think I was gonna take you to this like cool casual pizza place down the road and just hang out and chat.
I love hanging out with you.
But lunch we got to do something because I'm freaking starving.
Yeah, let's eat.
Also, if you guys love this, share it with somebody else. Let us know in comments below. Go check out We're Insurance Agents. Anything else before we wrap up?
We are insuranceagents.com, and follow me on Instagram, David Price Official.